my skin. I've been having this issue lately on every Zoom call. I'm like, I look red.
I think it might just be you because I feel like you don't really, I think it's, well, not you, but like only you see,
I think it's just you. I think you're just
I
red.
think you're just red. No, I mean, like, I can't really see, like, honestly, the only thing that looks red is like just like the bridge of your nose, really. That's not even red. You kind of, it makes you look like you put, like you have, you got like full glam done,
Oh,
like
cool.
it looks
Okay.
airbrushed. Yeah.
I feel like I just have a sunburn, but I don't. I'm tan.
Promise.
I promise you.
Twinsies.
It looks red on the screen, but I promise I'm tan.
Just in case you guys were wondering. All right, let's dive in. Welcome back, everybody. It's always so awkward when we are on a Zoom call to do an intro because I
Cool.
literally feel like I'm talking to myself. But we're doing it. So why are we on Zoom? Where are you?
Well, I'm back in Nevada. You also just were. We tend to do this every single time. Because our brothers graduated.
I know, high school. It was very like good to be back on the grounds, but also just like, oh my goodness, which kind of like goes into the 10 and 10 idea that you had today of the things that we liked about high school. And yeah, I liked that because it took me a second to figure out what I liked.
Oh, same. You want to know what the first thing is that I put down? I
Please.
went through like old pictures and I was like, you know, my favorite part about high school? Summer vacation.
I literally was going to say the end. The end part.
Yep, summers on the lake. I was just looking back at pictures of us like boating. And just like I don't know, you like finally get your license. You get to go up to the lake with friends. You're like hoping that you see your crush. You're wearing swimsuits you're not allowed to.
Oh gosh. No, I like that. It's like the freedom, but still knowing you're cared for. Like you can like
Yeah.
leave the nest and be wild, but still really have no responsibility or understand responsibility at all.
You
I
think
like
you're so
that.
independent, but
Yeah,
you're not.
not even a little bit. My first one is meeting pretty cool people. I think based like because I moved around a lot, I was able to meet a lot of different people from high school, both in Douglas and in San Clemente. And I met you and I mean, I don't need to list everybody that I met from high school that I still talk to, but I think that the handful of like friends that I have now, I would say like half of them are from like, high school, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like the longest, okay, that the comment I was just about to say doesn't make sense. The longest friendships I've had have been since high school. Well, no shit, because I met other people after high school. So anyway, yep, met some cool people. I have swim meets. I know we talked about swimming before. I just feel like high school swim meets were so fun. It was different than club. It's like I don't know, the most you could swim is a 500.
Yeah,
And when I'm swimming distance, I'm like, great. I love that I get to swim like 200s and 100s and do relays and like you're swimming with friends that aren't like on the club team. I don't know. I just feel like I'm so glad that I got that experience.
same. Same. That was my next one too. I felt like I performed better during high school swim season than any other time throughout club because it was like less pressure, which helped me, and just overall like nice team. It felt like I was a part of the team, whereas club sometimes, which I liked because I did want it to just be me, but sometimes it was like, it's really you and no one else in the pool. Like they would just like say that all the time. I'm like, I mean, it's so lonely in here. Sorry.
Oh,
Thought
what
I
happened?
thought I disturbed myself or I put myself on do not disturb,
Oh,
but I was disturbed. I hope they didn't hear that.
I
Anyway, yeah,
didn't
that was
hear
my other one too, high school swim.
it. Well, then my third one is just like sneaking around. Like you don't really need to do that as an adult because you can do whatever you want. But
I
I
know.
feel like I went and was looking at photos and I'm like, wow, I like snuck out to like do this or like hanging in some friend's garage and like getting myself in situations that weren't ideal, but also just like the thrill of the like, you know, doing things you shouldn't be.
My sisters took me on Wednesday night. We went up to the Genoa water tower to watch the moonrise, and they were just telling
Trauma. Trauma at the water tower, but go on.
well, I had never been up there. Well, I don't remember ever being up there. And the girls started telling me, like, they were like, what do you mean? And then they started listing off all of the things that they were doing up there and who they took up there. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And then on Thursday, my mom and I were driving through the ranchos to go pick up the cake for Ryan's
Oh
graduation,
my
and we
gosh.
couldn't find the house. So we were kind of just like roaming, and I literally was like, I like kind of like tensed up, and even my mom, who in the back seat, was like, "Bring back some memories." I can name a handful of times that my mom has had to pick me up from the ranchos in the dead of night. So I'm
Do
like,
you
oh,
remember when I had to pick you up from the ranchos and I think your phone died or my phone died and I didn't know where you were and I was like, do you remember
was this when
this?
I was leaving? Like when I was leaving, see, it just the sneaking sneaky. That's the whole that's the point of
Sneaky,
it.
sneaky. Like horrible stories, but also I'm like, that was like a core high school memory,
Oh my
I
God.
gotta
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. No, I love that. My next one is learning Spanish. I don't know
Oh
why.
my gosh.
I just
I
like,
love that we have that class together.
yeah, truly, I think that was like one of our only classes that we had together. Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did enjoy learning Spanish in high school. I felt like that was the only time that I really was like into it and cared about learning another language, especially the language that like my family speaks. And when I went to college, I did not stay with it. So being back in high school and obviously being with family, it just reminds you of that. So I added that to my list.
Cute. I love it. In my photo memory, because I needed to just visualize. I'm like, what? I don't remember high
Where did you
school.
look at all of these? Do you have them all? Did you go on Facebook? What did you look through?
Yeah, I was going on
Hmm.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Um,
Eek.
Shopping sprees. There
Oh,
weren't actually shopping sprees. We would just go and like try on like crazy outfits or like outfits that we were never gonna buy. And I feel like that it was another thing that like you get your license, you don't have any money, but there's also not a ton to do around here. So you like go to Marshall's and try on a bunch of clothes and they probably hate you and then you leave. And I just feel like that was fun. I love doing that.
no, and
Or
then
when
you
you got to go
spend
up
like
to Reno and go to the mall.
oh my God. And then you spend like hours after making sure that the photo album of everything that you did and all like the like 500 photos of just like a photo dump has like the right caption or like the right edit. Like the picture of us in the dress where we're like holding our boobs. I'm
Uh-huh.
just like, yeah. Or yeah, when we would go to like Dillard's and try on like literal ball gowns and just like, yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun though.
Um, I love that. My next one. Oh, having a locker. So at Douglas, we didn't have lockers. No, did we? No, you don't have a
Mm-mm.
locker. So I remember being like, I you would see all of like the movies of like, the high schoolers have lockers. So I felt like a little gypped that I didn't have that high school experience. But the second high school that I had lockers and I loved it. I like had a purse instead of a backpack so I could drop my stuff off.
Wow.
I think that lasted like 0.2 seconds because I was like, this is not realistic. And also I have swim after this and before this, so I need a bag. Um, but yeah, I loved it. I loved like the sound of slamming it, putting in my code, meeting people by the locker, getting gifts in my locker. I remember I got a gift in my
Oh,
locker.
wow. Like
Cute,
someone
loved
knew
it.
your code and left you a gift in your locker?
Yeah, it was like my boyfriend, I guess, at the time. It's like so silly to say like boyfriend in high school, but I like he was, but it's just like, oh,
That's cute. I like that. I think that it was fun too. I feel like by the time I got to high school, I appreciated more the chance to like when Savannah got to high school too, I was like, oh my gosh, my siblings are here at the same time. Or like when Julia was also on swim team, I think it was just, I enjoyed it more than I did younger. I was like, oh, my siblings are so annoying, like in middle school. And then by high school, I was like, wait, this is so fun that Savannah's also here, or that like she was also on the high school swim team. I feel like that was cool to be able to experience that, which I know you didn't, but
And
it
I'm
was
trying to think
fun.
like kind of when it was me and Anais in high school in San Clemente, we got that a little bit and like we would drive together. I distinctly remember because I could drive and she couldn't. And so on days that she would piss me off, she would have to take the bus. I would make her take the bus and not drive her to school. But so I had a little bit that of that, but I do, yeah, I don't really have that with like Sophie and Isabella. So not on mine. No.
That's okay.
Uh, my last one is just like like in between, I guess like lunch, just like recess for lack of a better word, like in between where you would like go meet up with your friends and just like try to have like your little
Yeah,
social, like then walk to class together, just like those kinds when they weren't like stressful or some drama was happening, like just trying to find your friends and that like immediate relief of just like seeing them and like knowing like you kind of had a place, on days that felt really good. Not that I don't miss that now. I feel a little bit more comfortable, but I do just remember that feeling of just like, oh my God, thank God, like my people, and just like a little bit of a break of the hectic like learning experience because it was a lot.
that's so true. Like the set schedule and the set, like, okay, we have 45 minutes for lunch. Like, let's go meet in the car or like go walk to Super Burrito or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah. Subway. Yeah.
Subway.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was fun. Good
There were
times.
some good things sprinkled in there.
Yeah. I did ask my brother, I was like, what was your rose and thorn of high school?
Ooh.
And he only could list one thorn, and he was like, "There's too many roses." And I'm like, "That's so good. I'm
I
so
love.
glad. Guess I'm just cynical about my high school experience."
What were some of his roses?
He said prom. I think like the gym routine that he built with his friends. The I think the friends that he like had made similar stuff of like he got his car. He was able to like go up to the lake a lot. He had um a schedule where he was able to like not be at the school so much, and I think that was fun for him.
Like, thank God.
Um,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm
I
glad
did
he
not
enjoyed it.
ask Ryan that. Damn.
That's okay. I think CJ is getting annoyed because at his grad party, I'm like, "What's your rose and thorn of your party?" And he's like, "Stop." Like,
What about
okay,
now?
see you later. Go hang out with your friends.
I love that. Um, I was kind of ties into what we're talking about today, but I was obviously writing cards for not only graduation but Father's Day. So we got like a bunch of cards and my sisters and I were just like writing on the cards and Sophie and Isabella had both written in Ryan's graduation card before I got to. So of course, as one does, I'm like reading what their entries are before I figure out what I want to write. And it like hit me like a freaking train because I looked down at Sophia's comment and it was like, oh, shoot, hold on while I try to like formulate what it said. I'm gonna
It's
like
okay. We
butcher
can
it, but
cut
it
this
was
out.
like, it's not as scary as it seems is like
Hmm.
what she said at first. And I just like just reading that and being in the time of graduation and just kind of putting yourself in that moment of like the door is like there's college, like there's so many things change, like you're about to literally leave the nest for good. This isn't like middle school to high school. You feel all big and bad, you feel like you completed something, but at the same time you're also like, wait, what the fuck am I about to do? Where am I going? Oh my gosh, like I don't even know how to feel. And I remember asking, like, oh my gosh, like, how do you feel? Are you scared? Are you nervous? And I think, like, you don't even know how to feel. Like, you feel so much that you're just like, I don't know, I'm excited. Like, I'm just going to ride the wave and see what happens because I don't remember. And seeing her write that at first of like, it's not as scary as it seems kind of threw me back because I was like, damn, like, I wish, like I even said it out loud. I was like, man, I wish someone told me that. Like, I wish that was written
Mm.
in my card. And then, when you wanted to talk about just being like an older sibling and things like that, it really got me thinking of like, there are moments where it is obviously it is hard to be the oldest sibling in situations like this where like there was no one to tell me like it'll be okay, or it isn't scary, or take that step, and like getting having someone kind of tell you it's whatever, everything that she
Hmm.
said. But then it's also so beautiful to be an older sister, because then you get to write things like that and kind of see that process and be kind of that unspoken support sometimes, even though we're both very spoken. And I don't know, I'm very glad that I had that moment. It seemed like so silly now to say, but it did. I was like, oh wow, like taken aback by that. And it's just like so special, us older sisters and the things that we go.
It really is. I was looking before we started at childencyclopedia.com.
Okay.
I love when we whip out our like
I
random
love
our
it.
research. I was looking online, and it was just talking about like the older sibling um role and just kind of what happens. And it says one line in there was that older sisters are more likely to engage in caretaking and helping roles. And it's like just having that validated, I'm like, yeah, 100%. I feel like yeah, we talked about our military upbringing, we talked about our family dynamics, but I do think just being an older sister in general, it's like an innate thing in you that you just automatically do. And to be able to, I don't know how much they care or listen, but to be able to have the advice and just be like, here's my like experience and here's what I think, and hopefully it's helpful because I've lived it. And maybe a little like sooner than your parents have, you know? Because I feel like my parents or my mom would be like, I went through this and this is what I did, and my ignorant like teenage brain, I'm like, you don't understand, it's so different now. But as like an older sibling, you're like, no, I did this, like this just happened to me 2 years ago, and this is what how I navigated it. Um, I feel like that's a cool relationship to be able to have.
Yeah, I agree. I think when a parent is saying it, it's like they're so far, you can't respect there, because you're just like, oh, you don't understand. But a sister or an older sibling is a little bit more like, because you kind of remember them, going through the same thing. I also think like validating whatever it is that they're going through and the advice that we have to give is nice, because it's like, damn, like it really is similar, all of the experiences that we go through, just like heartache or college. Like it may not be the same degree or same school or same kind of way, breakup or whatever, but it's like we've all kind of been there. So to give that advice, I find it challenging now. And I really liked what you said. What happened?
Having such bad allergies. And I had to sneeze. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I didn't even hear you.
Carry on.
No, the
But
allergies there are insane. When I stepped out of the car, as soon as I hit the Nevada freaking state line, mosquito bit my eye, like my eyelid, and it started to swell. I like was like driving the rest of the way like
oh
this.
my
I'm like, what
gosh.
the heck? It better be fixed by the graduation. It was, thank God. But I'm like, what is happening? And then the cottonwood that
The
literally looks like
cottonwood.
snow. Oh my God, horrible. Anyway, what was I saying? Something about Oh,
I'm so
what
sorry.
I'm finding challenging now is like the phase between, like you said, being a friend and being a sister, and like when they're all adults. Because now, okay, we can assume they're all adults. As soon as you graduate high school, it's like, oh, you know what you're doing. It's like you have to. I felt like that, and I know that they feel like that. So it's like, okay, at what point or what is the line, or how in different situations do you be more of a friend versus like more of an older sibling or older sister?
Yeah, I caught myself a few times already in the last few days in like conversation taking on this like I don't want to say like holier than thou because that's not what it is, but it's more of just like, well, I've lived it and I know, and like this is what I like. You're being, I actually said some mean things, but I was just like, you're being crazy. Like, stop. You shouldn't act that way. And I'm like, why am I like, that's not what's needed in this moment. And I'm like annoyed with myself because I feel like it distances like the really cool thing about having siblings is how close you can be and how you have this like relationship that is so special and unique, unlike any other relationship that I have in my life. And you like understand each other so well because you experience similar upbringings, like you relate on so many levels. I mean, you're literally like biologically related. Um, but then when you turn into like this the sibling and not really like the friend, and you feel, especially as the older sibling, like you need to be the responsible one and like make sure everyone's understands what's going on and corralling people, and it's like, why do I have to do that though?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't I don't know. Sometimes I catch myself doing it and I catch my siblings getting annoyed by it, and I'm like, what is actually helpful in this setting? Because now I'm just making enemies.
I love do they call you out on it? Because that's helped me a lot I've always been that way and I think I always will kind of carry on the caretaker when it comes to my family and I try not to put myself in the middle, but I just find myself there all the time. As I get older and as my siblings get older, they have also, as a sibling does, is call you out on all of your shit. Will call me out on being like, you don't need to be mom right now. Like, especially if mom is in the room, there's no need for you to be talking or whatever it is. So they definitely call me out on it a lot now.
I don't think my siblings do. I feel like we have still not quite figured out how to fight with each other because we will fight and then not really apologize, and then it's just like move on or move out type attitude. Like
I
we're
get
on to the next thing, so get over it. I feel
Yeah,
like that's kind of how our dynamic can be, which I don't think is really healthy, but I don't know that they necessarily call me out. I just notice, I just read their body language and I'm like, you're not loving this. I can
yeah.
tell.
I think it's just so special, the relationship that you have with your siblings, just kind of what you were saying before, but also I don't know. I don't know how to say this like nicely, but I'm just gonna say it. Like you can be your ugliest, meanest, selfish, like all the ugliest parts of you to maybe not to the max, but show a different side of you that's a little bit more open without kind of just like this, you know, the respect boundary I think gets blurred a little bit. Like a lot of things
Mm,
just get blurred and things get really really muddy and it's like can get really tough and especially like if you don't already have a good relationship or the like lack of love isn't there for some people or siblings I see. But what I find so special in my family and yours as well is like no matter what, the love is there. So even though it is like, okay, bounce back from this argument, like we're moving on, like get on the train because it's going, I don't know what to tell you kind of attitude I like, but it's just so like no matter what is happening and you're in that space, like the love is still there and shown and even and you can kind of like almost make a joke about it and like my example is when we were having our graduation dinner on Thursday. I was sitting next to my sister and we were having on loads of things, but one of the things on the menu was corn on the cob. And I don't know what it is with me and like sound sometimes, but like the sound of chewing and slopping and all of these things, like it worms its way into like through my ear, into my soul. Like, and when you're with your family, again, if this was a friend and someone was, if you were sitting, well, I don't know, if it was you, it's a little different, but like another like friend that maybe I'm not super close with was doing, wouldn't say anything, or maybe I would just like move on or like maybe make a joke about it after. I literally turned and I made such a big deal. I was like, I just like such a thing out of it. And then of course, like, your sibling, you think you're the only one with sass and that you can come like really quick-witted with these kind of things. And then you just get like backhanded by your sister or, brother. And she came at it with some like snarky thing. And anyways, we were able to make a joke about it as the night went on and just kind of like laughing about it. And Sophia was on the phone with her boyfriend during this whole time. And so finally, like laugh, joke, whatever, sat back down, calmed back down. And then a few minutes later, she sat down and it was kind of like a lull in the conversation. And you just start to hear her like munching on it. And then as a joke, we all like turned to her. It was like a big thing. And I just think like in moments like this, where as like a big sister, even as a sibling, like I just want to be like, oh, disrespectful and be like, shut your fucking mouth, like stop eating corn like a goat, like stop. And even though she's just eating it normally, it builds this kind of relationship and connection that's not not disrespectful, but just like different than from what like a friendship would be. Because I don't want to say that I'm being disrespectful to them, but I don't know, maybe it is. They might say Isabella might be like, well, no, it was pretty fucking rude.
No, I'm glad you said that because it is. It's like I do the weirdest shit around my siblings. I feel like I'm my fully just like most unhinged self.
Truly, truly.
And I think they also are. I feel like we're just like weird and have this dynamic that like no one else really understands because it just feels like special to us. But it's also like if someone else talked to them the way that I just spoke with them, I would end your life. But I can do it. It's okay. Yeah,
I love it.
it is an interesting dynamic and also just kind of like I don't know. I wouldn't like punch punch you, but I would like punch them in the arm. I wouldn't like I don't know.
That's true. If you came home and just started if you tackled me, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Me and CJ, it's like WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't know why when I see him, I'm like, I have to put you in your place.
And the only way
But
you will respond is by physical dominance.
except it's really hard because he's like 6 foot something and so much stronger than me now, but I still try. Um,
Oh, I love
but
that.
it's also cool because now everyone is like, yeah, our youngest siblings are all graduated from high school, and I'm excited for like the adult dynamic of a sibling relationship and just having more. I think we've already had a lot of these, but like more mature conversations, more like life-oriented conversations, and like having people that you can turn to that I feel like you're also like, okay, I'm not trying to vent to you about something when you're 15 years old and maybe don't understand yet, but now you're in it. You're in this next phase of life and we can like talk about these things.
Yeah, and relate to bigger things too. Definitely. I think too, like they become a little bit more compassionate. I think the younger, I mean, they're still like it can still be pretty harsh when it comes to like critique. And I think as I get older, because I've seen and experienced so many things when they kind of talk to me about some of their issues, I approach it more of like a, oh, well, you haven't seen anything yet, which I think irritates them more than
Mm.
anything because they're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? But on their end, it's like they grow up and kind of go through similar things that I was complaining about a few years ago. And I can count a handful of times, and I think that number is increasing that they're like, oh, damn, I remember when you told me this was a hard time and I shrugged it off or told you you were crazy, and now I'm dealing with it. And wait, what was your advice again? Or how did you go to get through that? And I think like that has been like really special to experience like as an older sibling as well, and to also just see them get a little nicer because I know I got
Yeah.
I grew up.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I learn from them. I've learned from them my whole life, but like you get out of high school and you everyone takes very different paths. Like you're not on a like, oh, you have to go to high school, like you do your sports, you do your thing. It's like everyone's now doing their own thing and what they want to pursue and at different phases in like relationships or just like navigating different things at different times. And I feel like even though yes, have experienced maybe more life than them, I feel like they're experiencing different life and like I can learn a lot from what they're going through too, and just like their perspective on things. I think it's a good reminder. Like being around my sister McKenna, who's like big into the outdoors. I'm like, oh, it's so refreshing because like I remember being in college and like going on backpacking trips with you and like prioritizing that so much more. And I feel like inspired to do that more, spending time with her and like with Julia and just her. Yeah, I could go on all of them, but it's like cool to learn from each of them, like the different things that they're experiencing and how I can incorporate that into like not doing the same things, but back into my own life.
Yeah. And how special of a thing to be like, actually, you like motivated me to get back into that too. So I think that's
Hmm.
another like way that maybe it just as you get older, like this role of an older sibling kind of blends with being a friend. I think obviously you become more of a friend as you get older, like you said, because there's more things to relate to. I think at the end of the day, like I'm gonna be a sister first before I'm anything. But I think to me that just means like are you safe? Like, are you okay? And then after, like, if that is yes and your safety is yes, then also have just like really trying to remind myself that you are like a full human being who are is like experiencing life very differently than or differently than I have maybe have done it and trying to respect that and learn from that and then find like motivation or be like, "Oh, I learned something from you." So I see that too and that seems to be like really beautiful. But yeah, it's been difficult when I go home, especially to tie it back to like the water tower story. It's because when they tell you all the crazy shit that they did or are doing, you're just like
Wow, that's so fun.
tell me more. Okay. Like it just you get like panicky. So I'm like, as long as you're safe, that's great. Great. Good job for you.
Yeah. No, I fully, now that knock on wood, graduation's done, I was like sick to my stomach thinking about like my brother getting in like a drunk driving, like car accident or something. And it's like, I trust him. I have like the utmost confidence in him and his skills and what he's doing and that he'll make good decisions. But I'm also like, I don't trust other people and I'm scared and I want him to be okay. And it's like,
There
it's
it
fine.
goes.
He's
Yep.
fine. But it's like that was all I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And now that he's like okay, I'm like, great. I can be like excited and hang out with you, but I just want you to be safe.
Yeah. It's hard because I don't think that feeling is like ever gonna go away. So as you're just like still like a friend, you're still like a
Please just take care of yourself. Be smarter
yeah,
than I was.
yes. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. I honestly, there's so much I can bring, like, that comes to mind when I go back home for graduation or family vacation and little things that I can touch on. But sometimes it's, I have to remind myself, like, what's in the past is in the past for a reason. And just like, more so like seeing people. Like I saw an old coach and like, you see
Mm,
you're in the same space, you're in the same neighborhood as like old memories and just kind of like accepting that for what it is and who I was at that time and
yeah.
just kind of moving on because I can find myself like really spiraling. And so while I'm like so lucky to have like siblings and to be able to have attended their graduations, I'm so done with that town. I'm done for I thank God I've never have to go to a Douglas High School graduation ever again.
Yeah, that's what I was like. This is it. We're never doing it again.
Nope.
So glad it's over. The last of them. On to bigger and better things for
Amen,
everyone.
sister. No, but it was a fun time home and I always like enjoying up there and I knew as soon as I smelled the mountain air, I was gonna want to take another trip back home. So now I'm trying to figure out when I can like go to do like a lake day or something a little bit
Mm.
more than just a drive up, spend a day, turn around, drive back sort of situation like I just did. So
Yeah, yeah, good. I maybe we can actually do something together.
yeah. Instead of one picture, hey, hey, love you, bye.
Hey, yeah, we'll drive up separate. We'll get there separately. We'll leave separately. So dumb.
I love that your dad was like, aren't you guys sick of each other? We're like, no,
No, we gotta check in.
yeah,
So it's been 24 hours.
yeah. Haven't heard from you. Where are you? Where's my sim?
Yeah, literally. I love it. I'm glad we're both older siblings and we have that we can relate to too. And If you can relate and you want to follow our podcast, Pledge Respect Podcast on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, we're on every streaming platform, and give us a review, 5 stars if you like us, and don't give us anything else.
I love it.
All right. Well, thanks, y'all. Have a good one.
Thanks. We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.